I'd give you guys a little update. It's been long overdue. It's been like 10 months since the last video. Yeah, I'm just pretty rubbish at filming while I'm doing things, really. So I'm gonna give you a little update on the build and where I'm up to. It has all been running, which is good. Obviously had it dynoed, went to JCal, or went and saw Jesse at JCal in the end. He did an amazing job. So about 7 PSI, I think it was about 370 at the wheels. This is at a hub dyno, and we thought we'd push it up a little bit, up to 11 PSI, and I think we made just shy of 400 at the wheels. So pretty damn good. She was fun, especially revving it out to 8K. Obviously the manual ZF box is horrible. They're just horrible boxes. They vibrate, they make horrible noises. It didn't help I had the TF Works twin clutch, which is made by Clutchmaster. Don't get me wrong, amazing bit of kit, but it's just too light, too aggressive on the clutches for a car that's going to be on the road, if I'm honest with you. So that came out quickly, sold that, got rid of that, and I thought, right, I've always wanted to do a DCT swap, which you may have seen from the Instagram. So I pretty much had everything ready, and then at the last minute I thought, no, I'm going 8 HP. So I've decided to go 8 HP 50, which is out of the M140i. I won't go into too much detail just yet while I've swapped. I will do in a later video once I start putting the box in. But yeah, I think it's going to be a nicer setup for a car that's more for the street. It will see track now and again, but it's going to be more of a street car, so a Grand Tourer, as opposed to, you know, full-blown race car style, which I'll be honest, the Mark 1 was more like that. And don't get me wrong, it's great, but let's be honest, when you're on the road, you're probably 80% of the time driving around normally, and then the last 20% you're giving it the beans. So yeah, I thought I'd go that route. But anyway, I'll show you what I've done so far. So obviously in the car, we've got the paddles set up. So these are MME Motorsport paddles. Work of art, literally probably the best you can buy. They just feel nice. These are their new paddles they've actually come out with. These were their other ones, so they're just flat ones, where these have a very slight, I don't know if you can see, a little bend in them. They just feel a bit nicer because your hands just literally slip. So that should work well. And I've also got the DCT, this is actually out of M2 shifter. So this is all sorted, there's a nice plate there, so that should work well. This will work, I'm going to be using the Turbo Lamex controller rather than the HTG GCU controller. This will work fine with that. Yeah, it just looks OEM, apart from the fact it does have an M badge, which, yeah, that's for Mazda, right? M, Mazda? Yeah, we'll go with that. Obviously I did a lot of the wiring, because I did, with the DCT, have the GCU all wired in, so a lot of this I can obviously use for the Turbo Lamex setup. But yeah, you can sort of see, obviously got the ECU fuse box up there. This is the power, which is up to a separate relay, and then obviously we've got the extra wires for this is for the shifter, and then we've got the paddle wire. So yeah, pretty simple setup, but I'm looking forward to get it actually in, as in properly have it in, rather than fit it and think, no, change your mind, this is actually happening. So yeah, we're getting there, but no, I'll go through the engine and you guys can obviously have a little look, and I'll go through what I've done to it. K-swap the world, I'm telling you, bloody K-swap everything. I'll go through everything that I can remember anyway. So we've got a K24A3, it's had the K20 oil pump mod, as well as the 50-degree VCT gear done as well. Inlet side, we've got the K-Miata inlet manifold, the radium fuel rail, as well as their fuel pressure regulator and the dampener down there. I'm running 1000cc CP fuel injection injectors. We've got a Bosch drive-by-wire throttle body. Drive-by-wire is the way, by the way. I'd never go back to cable, if I'm honest. Over to the exhaust, we've got the LA Fab exhaust manifold, which was custom done. It is tight, it is very tight. If I had to do it all again, I would probably fit the engine straight, custom sump and oil pickup, because obviously they have that slant. It just free up so much more room, but then, you know, you've got the extra bits that you need to do. And the whole idea around this build was I can just, you know, if something happened to this engine, pick another one up dirt cheap, do a few little mods, straight in, away I go. So this is a 347 stainless steel manifold, so it should be able to handle the heat a bit better. Got a Turbo Smart 45. We're running a Pulsar turbo, so it's a 3076, and that's a Tile AR82. And obviously we've got a bit of titanium. Everyone loves that. But yeah, she fits in there nicely. I am running, obviously you can't see, got a Mishimoto radiator, and then I'm running a 16 row set trab or cooler as well. I am running the OEM oil heat exchanger, which I'll be honest actually works really well, so I may unhook the oil cooler and just see what the temps are without it, especially as if the car's going to see more road use more than anything. I don't know if you saw in previous videos, but I obviously changed up the ABS, so I've removed that and we're running a Chase Bay adjustable, so I've redone all the little lines, so that's come out really nice. I'm also running a custom expansion tank. Obviously normally they sit here, but got loads of space here, and obviously it's the highest point, so it makes life really easy when it comes to bleeding the engine. But other than that, she fits in there damn good. Obviously because we're going 8 HP as well, I'm still going to retain the clutch. You may be thinking what, but the joys is it lets you you can in essence clutch kick and disengage the clutch if you want to, but you have to do it a bit different to a typical setup, obviously, because there's no hydraulics involved. So the OEM pedal, obviously got a little cap there which will go there. You have obviously these little pins that slide through, and you also have plastic bushes, so obviously this will float and the pin can obviously float in this as well. Now what I've done, you can see there's a bolt there, is I've drilled all the way through, tapped to M6, so when you twist it, this pin also twists with it. So what I'll do this side is I'll have like a TPS sensor, I'll make some mounting or something so it sits on there, and then what you can do, and that basically allows you to kind of have like a linear sensor range, so the controller knows if you apply like 10%, it will disengage the clutches by 10% and let them slip slightly. It's just so you know, if you wanted to clutch click, for example, you can do, but you can make it a bit more progressive as opposed to just on off, which would be pretty violent if I'm honest with you. And yeah, I don't have to fill it, but it's something that I can do. Worst case, I'll just run the blank. But yeah, we'll get there. We'll obviously get the box in, get that mounted up, do the wiring on the box. Gearboxes! So we've got the DCT gearbox here, which has now been sold. Good old chunky boy. What I'm going to be fitting is the 8 HP, which is a traditional automatic. So it has the torque converter. This is an adapter plate that fits a few BMWs. It's Adam 80 Performance. This is actually for the DCT, but it allows you to fit other boxes because they're all very similar, the BMW boxes with the bolt patterns. So yeah, I'm going to be fitting this. Pretty thinking I'm mad, but I'll be honest, they shift pretty much as quick. You know, they're a lot smoother. They're not going to be as violent as a DCT gearbox, especially for a car that's going to be seeing more street than track. For a track car, 100% this, by far this. For a car that's going to see a lot of road and, you know, track as well, to be fair, this will do the job really well. They're dirt cheap, they're not. Obviously now you can control these, you know, with the early boxes out of the E90, E92 M3, you can use max ECU. The later ones you have to use the HTG GCU controller, so it's cheaper than sequential by far, and so they're creeping up in price then massively. But these, the 8 HP, literally get fitted in everything. BMWs, Land Rovers, Jags, Obviously they vary in models, you know, this is a 50. The second number normally dictates what their torque rating is. So 50 would be 500 newton meters of torque. They'll probably do a lot more. You know how the manufacturers like to be safe. A lot of people fit the 8HP 70s, which are a bit more of a chunkier box, just a bit wider here, because I think they, obviously the autos have sun gears or whatever. I think they're just a bit chunkier. But yeah, we're getting there. Obviously got a mod for the starter that needs to be cut out a bit. I've done a little mod for the park lock. So same with the DCT, you have park locks. So with the park lock on, you can't turn the output flange at all. So what I've basically done is tap this bit of metal here to M6. What I'll probably do is run a nut underneath so it just locks, just in case that obviously flops out. Push this down, do the screw in, and that's your park lock permanently off. Just allows you to push the car around. Obviously, you know, with the 8HPs there's a solenoid inside, so it does control that. So the controller will pull it in park and unlock it as well, where the DCTs are a bit different. They don't have a solenoid to control that, it's done externally. But yeah, looking forward to getting it in. It should be a nice setup. I'll go in a more in-depth video when I start wiring up the controller and fitting it. But I've heard extremely good things about Turbo Lamix with the AHPs. Pretty much at the fact that they work out the box, in essence. And I'm speaking to a few people and they've almost just fitted them and away they go. There's not much tuning required. But yeah, she's getting there. Hopefully get the adapter some point this month, which would be good. And then obviously I can get the box in, get that mounted up. I'm going to hopefully get the controller all sorted and get that wired up, which would be really, really good. To have that obviously in and sorted. Prop shaft, I'll use what I did before, just get one made and away I'll go on that one. But no, it should be good. I'm looking forward to it. I've seen a few good videos with the 8HP and they just work well. Smooth, nice. Obviously the joys of auto, you can flick it in auto when you're in traffic, and if you want to have a bit more fun, flick it into manual. Obviously you always can get those purists that go, oh, manual's the way, why would you go auto? But auto's always going to be quicker on track, and I've always fancied doing it, especially having the paddles. It'd be a bit different, you know. May hate it, may love it, but I reckon I'm going to love it if I'm honest with you. But no, I'm going to keep you updated. I'm actually going to do some videos. I know I've said this so many times, but I'm going to keep you guys updated. I'm going to try and record as I'm doing it. Hopefully it's going to go pretty swimmingly well. Shouldn't come across any issues. The majority of everything's done, to be fair. You know, the main power source for the controller, engine's all in. I know the adapter plate fits well on the engine. The fact the DCT gearbox fits in here, the AHP's going to fit in here. I may need to modify the exhaust very slightly when it comes into the tunnel and swings round, because the 8HP, the sump goes all the way back where the DCT doesn't. So we'll see. Overall, I'm looking forward to getting it up and running and getting some good video shots for you guys, especially having this engine scream to 8K. I'm so glad I did the K24. It's compared to the Duratec 2.5, don't get me wrong, Duratec 2.5 swaps, especially for turbo, far cheaper obviously. They work well, but these K engines are just, it's a stock block at the end of the day. You know, we're pushing on the higher boost pretty much 400 at the wheels and revving it to 8K. It's loving life. I could probably push a lot more power out of them, but for an MX5, that's yeah, that's plenty. Obviously until I get bored, no doubt, you know, push the power up a bit more. You know, what I could do at the end of the day is fit a set of rods, max speeding rods. You can get some Nippon Racing pistons, pretty much the same as standard pistons really, but it's the rods. The rods are the weak point in the K engines. The key is basically have the torque come in later. But yeah, if you've got any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll try and cover it in future videos, which I'm actually doing. It's happening, don't worry. Yeah, but no, I'm looking forward to getting it back up and running. It's for the short period of time I actually have it on the road, It was awesome. It was phenomenal. I'll be honest with you, I wish that ZF manual was a lot nicer. I wish I went with the heavier flywheel. It would have just been so much nicer, but it is what it is. You learn from your mistakes. So yeah, we'll get there. But no, I'll catch you guys later in another video.